With Resident Evil 9 releasing in 3 months and Resident Evil Survival Unit possibly coming out in weeks, now is a great time to take advantage. So our team thought it would be interesting to make a video about Resident Evil. In the end, the winning video was a top list of the deadliest enemies in real life. That is, in our world. Hypothetically, since there isn't any video specifically about this topic on YouTube. Which is surprising because there are several top lists of all the most powerful, terrifying, and grotesque enemies in every franchise. None focus on the deadliest for us, which, well, we think is very entertaining to make the video more interesting. So, all official enemies will be considered, not just the ones from the canon. More literally, with so many remakes and references in these old products or spin-offs, it's already pretty questionable what's canon or not. In the IP also, and it's not that we're trying to belittle the remakes, right? These have a very short monster catalog compared to the number of official monsters in the IP. To get to the top, I'll just mention 2 things of interest. The first is that monsters won't be evaluated by raw power, but rather how dangerous it would be for a normal community of people living in a city or town. You can put yourself, for example, your family, your town, city, or even your neighborhood. And the second thing, as always in this kind of video, is that all the research work is brought to you thanks to my right hand. Dipinodza, the Grave of Debates. His social media is always in the description. Thanks a lot. These interesting videos wouldn't be possible without him. Now let's begin. Honorable mention before the top. I'll quickly mention the Tyrant series. All models are lethal and resilient. So it doesn't matter which Tyrant we discuss, they'd probably attract government attention quickly and be taken down fast with heavy weapons. Anyway, let's move on to number 10 on the list. Evolved Lickers. These monsters from Resident Evil 2 are originally a slightly more resilient, agile, and stronger version of the standard Lickers. They are characterized by having a huge claw with which they can inject venom into their prey if they can't kill them in one hit. To understand how dangerous these things are, we need to briefly explain what a Licker is. Lickers are the result of a zombie infected with the T-virus mutating through a process called V-activate, where the T-virus is reactivated in the body. These zombies gain muscle, lose skin, and become blind as their brains are exposed. Even so, this doesn't pose a problem for them, since they have a highly advanced sense of hearing and gain the ability to stretch their tongue to use it as a whip or spear. And believe me, it's very dangerous. At the same time, this tongue is so strong that it can easily lift a person without any problem. In Resident Evil 2 and its remake, a small group of these easily overpowered several armed police officers. In Resident Evil Outbreak, it was shown how another small group wiped out all the inhabitants of a large hotel in Resident Evil Damnation. A group of these managed to take out a group of armed soldiers. Even though regular Lickers can only withstand a few shotgun blasts to the face, they're still a tough target to take down. Thanks to their great mobility, flexibility, reflexes, and wall climbing ability, the fact that they usually move in groups, since when they stop and sense prey or an enemy that's very close, their first reaction is to impulsively attack with their claws or tongue. However, don't think they were aggressive berserkers because they usually prefer to stalk their prey first before taking action, similar to natural predators unless provoked by attack or loud noises nearby. What do I know? Number 9. Novistadores. In the original Resident Evil 4, there was an enemy that scared most players a lot. When Leon first encountered it, he entered a small prison with water. Suddenly, you hear something moving but see nothing, making the player suspicious. Until out of nowhere, a strange cockroach mantis appears to attack you in the face while spitting acid at you. These are the Novistadores, an evolution of the plagas thanks to their DNA modified with insect DNA. These super insects, with the ability to become transparent, are truly lethal. You can only identify them by their glowing eyes and the sounds they make while walking. Just like the previous ones, they move in groups and are able to withstand a few shotgun blasts to the head. It was considered superior because it's dangerous to face an opponent that's hard to see, can overpower a trained soldier, and spits a lot of acid. Its main drawback versus other invisible beings is it's not fully invisible and is quite noisy. Number 8, Skarkmilione. This monster from Resident Evil Revelation, unlike the previous 2, isn't able to climb walls or coordinate attacks on careless prey. It also doesn't have the ability to turn invisible, spit acid, or stretch its tongue. But what it does have is armor and a shield, described as having a hardness similar to steel, which allow it to ignore low-caliber bullets. At the same time, if it is destroyed or cut in half, its body is still able to move and attack with light electric shocks. It can jump several meters, and its sword arm can cut through metal walls. So hiding in armored houses or shelters doesn't do much against this monster. Thanks to its shark DNA, it's also a very good swimmer and has a ferocious bite. A decisive factor is its small size, just under 2 meters tall, if you can even call that small. This allows it to enter human buildings without any problem. Number 7. Marcus's Leeches and Mimicry Marcus. This is a shared spot since the Leeches can come together to form Mimicry Marcus, and in turn, from the first Mimicry cutscene, we know that it can split back into the Leeches. It's just like Sigardi from Pokemon, but it's grotesque. In Resident Evil 0, these enemies are introduced in the train setting, where the game just begins. We see a group of Leeches kill all the train passengers in seconds, then moments later. It also demonstrates that these can kill men in full body armor with machine guns, highlighting how dangerous these super Leeches are. Their intelligence lets them release a liquid that temporarily merges them. To create a replica of Dr. Marcus, this monster is extremely resistant to firearms. So the best idea is to use fire or acid directly against it. If you try to shoot it, it can split into Leeches that attack, as seen in the cutscene. These Leeches have a hive mind and attack in large groups. Due to their size, viscosity, and shape, they can easily slip into many places, making hiding from them crucial. Number 6, Elite Hunter. In Resident Evil Dead End, the Hunter Project's pinnacle appeared as the Elite Hunter. The Hunters were human-crocodile hybrids created by the T-Virus. These super lizards with childlike intelligence could be trained to follow orders and obey specific masters. During the Raccoon City events, several variants were requested to test their combat performance. Their true potential was shown later on with this Elite Hunter, a product of perfecting the hunters thanks to the combat results. Umbrella enhanced its DNA for greater speed, strength, and agility, replacing its 2 clawed arms. They chose instead to give it a frog-like leg to grab things or hang from walls, and a hand with sharp claws to cut and tear off skin. Its intelligence is high as they're trained to hunt and solve problems as a team. They can dodge gunfire and move evasively to avoid damage. The best way to eliminate them is using multiple pastacies, bites, and intes, and 50 caliber weapon shots. So, ordinary people have no way to defend themselves against this being, even if they have weapons like standard pistols. Number 5, GLASP in Resident Evil Revelation 2. Capcom decided to include the most annoying monster in the entire IP, the Glass P. This super insect is able to turn invisible, fly slowly, withstand shotgun bullets, and break an adult's spine if it manages to grab you, and believe me, it can. But the 2 main reasons it ranks so high are, first, it can cause blurry, distorted vision in living beings. It basically drugs them. Basically, you just need to be a few meters near it. And the second important thing is that when it kills a host, it spits out multiple offspring so they can feed on the corpse. That's why it spreads so quickly. You could be walking down the street and suddenly feel your vision getting distorted, like you're drugged. Then you get grabbed and shot by an insect, breaking your spine instantly. It's a really, really horrible way to die. The only downside is that when it gets too close to its prey, it's really loud because of its buzzing, so you can tell where it is. And thanks to this, maybe you can try something. Although if you're not well armed, your chances are pretty low. Number 4, Ilusiha. Continuing with invisible enemies in Resident Evil 6, Ilusiha is a giant snake that can turn invisible and withstand heavy ammunition. The real danger of this one isn't breaking through reinforced concrete with metal rods, but its intelligence as it can stalk and attack isolated targets. Its lethality was such that it managed to decimate almost the entire team, even though this team was made to fight against different bioorganic weapon S. Before the top 3, I want to give an honorable mention to all the dogs or equivalents with a T-Virus variant that didn't make the list. If you think about it, it's dangerous. A 4-legged mammal with speed, stamina, and enough strength to catch and overpower an adult, even if they try to run. This gets worse when you consider that with just 1 bite, it can infect you, which means that it either kills you painfully with multiple bites and things like that, or on the other hand, it attacks and bites you. Even if you escape, you're still infected. Originally, they wouldn't be just an honorable mention, but in all the games, these always come in packs, which obviously makes them very lethal. Number 3, Verdugo. Resident Evil 4 is an action game due to its improved camera and mobility, replacing tank controls and fixed cameras. This, combined with the fact that you usually have a lot of weapon and ammo variety, makes the player feel comfortable. After all, most of the enemies look like normal humans. They just say, "Behind you, idiot," and can be taken out with regular ammo. They're not very threatening. During the castle map, there's a pretty memorable part where Leon has to face an enemy in the underground who stalks him from the ventilation ducts. After a while, it reveals itself as a monster that looks similar to a xenomorph from the Alien franchise. You go from playing an action game to playing a survival horror when you find out that this monster is practically immune to bullets. With the elevator blocked, you're forced to spend dozens of bullets trying to kill it, or run away the whole time it takes for the elevator to be ready. The main issue is this monster retains adult intelligence and is much faster than a human. It's also very flexible, easily reaching or appearing in front of you from impossible angles. Realistically, for Leon, already at his physical limit, doing needless backflips through doors and with peak military combat skills. A human created solely to survive, yet even for him, it was hard. For most people, even those with training, this monster would be an unstoppable beast, truly earning the name Executioner. Its only drawback is it can be stopped with liquid nitrogen, but most people don't have that at home and it's obvious, so I'm not sure. You might be able to hide to avoid it, but that's honestly a stretch. Number 2. Hunter Farfarello was already discussed in the top 6. Just like in Umbrella, they perfected the hunters to create the elite hunters, being the most effective hunters Umbrella could come up with. But years later, this organization accidentally managed to create an even stronger variant. This organization developed the T-Avis virus to cause global chaos and pressure governments to invest more in anti-bioterrorism organizations. But during their experiment, they infected Hunter with the virus. The hunters, once somewhat obedient weapons, grew larger, gained invisibility, and became so aggressive they rebelled, eliminating all humans in the facility. Despite the increase in aggressiveness and strength, they are still social with each other and hunt in packs. By checking the security cameras and then exploring the facility, you can see how they can easily use an adult human like a rag. Just by the fact that they escaped from their cages by destroying them, we can already assume that bars or metal doors are not strong enough to contain them. Number 1. Rax Lapange, Resident Evil 6. It's a very controversial game even today. The player, thanks to controlling characters with military training and weapons with more ammo than they can carry, gets an incredible sense of power. It's similar to Dead Space 3, where instead of fear, you feel adrenaline when facing enemies, just to turn them into mush. But this feeling of power turns into a feeling of fear and desperation. When you first encounter this enemy with an unpronounceable name, the Rax Lapange, thanks to its mixed viral DNA, it can endlessly reanimate. No matter how often you shoot it, it revives within seconds. The worst part about it is that every time you want to kill it, thanks to its dermal armor, it will require a lot of heavy ammunition. The worst thing you could do is dismember it, because each piece becomes self-aware and can move and attack on its own. If these pieces return to the main body, they can reattach by fusing the skin. The deadliest thing about this abomination is that when it kills its prey, it implants a larva that grows within seconds during the game. There are only 2 ways to eliminate it: put it in an industrial meat grinder or throw it into lava. Like I said, a person doesn't stand a chance against one of these if they run into it in a closed space. And the only disadvantage these monsters have is that they're not very fast. But without a doubt, their invulnerability, their pseudo-immortality, and all the dangers make them an almost unstoppable threat for ordinary people, even if they're armed or anything like that. Anyway, I hope you liked it and found it interesting. If the video gets strong support and you enjoy it, we can make a top video on the most powerful Resident Evil characters based on the lore. Can you also say, I don't know, if you think another creature would be the most dangerous in the franchise? For regular people or anything like that? The comment section will always be open so you can express yourselves. With nothing more to say, we'll see you in the next videos. Bye.